Everybody looking at you crazy. What you gonna do? Lift up your head and keep moving. Or let the paranoia haunt you. Peace to fashion police, I wear my heart on my sleeve, let the runway start. You know the miserable do love company. What do you want from me and my scars? Everybody lack confident, everybody lack confident. How many times my potential was anonymous? How many times the city making me promises? So I promise this, I love myself. The world is a ghetto, big guns.
Hey guys, it's your girl Robin the Heart, and we're here at DTLR Eastgate in Tampa, and we're here with the life coach Derrick Grace. How you doing, Derrick?
I'm good, and you? I appreciate y'all for having me.
Of course. No, thanks for partnering up. For those of you who don't know what we're doing today, we're here with Derrick. We have, his book that he's promoting, God Amongst Man, and we have complimentary school supplies, we have food, and we have the whole community out here.
Yeah. It's a actually, for everybody out there, I want to tell them I appreciate them as well. I appreciate them coming out. It's actually my 4th back to school giveaway, and every year it's probably been no more than like 12 people that even like reached out, but this year is like amazing. I'm feeling the love.
Yeah, we legit have like the community out. There's a good amount of people here. It's getting hot actually. So for those of you who aren't as familiar with you, can you kind of give us a summary of your story?
Well, like a lot of people, I was raised in a blue collar family, so that's what I come from initially. And going through some changes with that, I just realized that wasn't really the path I wanted. And I just came to the realization that one day we have to, start doing what we actually want to do rather than what we are trained to believe we have to do. And that's how I jumped into entrepreneurship. And following that, I just started taking the funds I was making from entrepreneurship and investing them into my mentorship. And next April will make 5 years that my mentorship has been established. But just recently, June 8th, actually my daughter's birthday, is when because they're homeschooled, so I do a lot of, I'm big on self-education, self-awareness, self-love, self-reliance. Those are like my 4 things that I preach in my house. And we make videos every day, but this specific day, June 7th, the video actually caught the eyes of really like the world. We ended up getting like 7.5 million views on Facebook. A lot of celebrities reach out, and a lot of people just start backing my mentorship from there. And just for example, book number 1 was Thank God We Don't Like What We've Been Through. That released August of 2014, 78 copies in 2 years. This one released June 8th and went number 1 on Amazon in 2 days. So it also showed me the power of like going viral. It really like, it has like, took us to a whole nother, just like I was saying, I just got back 30 minutes ago from Houston. But it was crazy. We truly could not go anywhere in Houston. I've never been there in my life, but people were stopping us left and right, taking pictures and asking this and that. So I'm really seeing like the real power of going viral and how serious the internet is.
I mean, the internet is everything right now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is.
So I was gonna say, you've been doing this for 5 years. You said you're mentoring, and I know you went viral. But how did you get to that point? What exactly happened for it to? You're just doing your mentoring in the community. Now you're,
Let me get Dad. I need Derrick. Here, Mr. Grace, come in. What? Like I said, I'm big on self-education, and outside of, cause I homeschool him. Come on, man. Outside of just the homeschool curriculum, he gotta do something. Outside of the homeschool curriculum, I insert my own curriculum, and I focus on 3 things when I'm teaching my children: heritage, history, current plight, and future plight. And if anybody's seen the videos, my son is very educated on the historical figures within the African American community. So that specific video, he was talking about Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, and my daughter gave some information. I teach both of them at the same time, and it actually helps because she actually gets a 7-year-old education, and she just turned 5, so she hasn't even physically started school yet, but she's much more ahead mentally because she has to learn at the same rate her brother does. But and then regarding current plight, I teach them things about nepotism that is very real and alive even in current times. And future plight, regarding that video, is when people hear him talk about inflation. And just an example, like, I'm sure all of us have been in the store with our mother at one time, and she's like, man, this was $2 back in my day. A lot of times being young people, we just laugh it off, and we overlook, the seriousness of inflation, that people don't really understand. $100,000 in 2016 is going to have the buying power of $55,000 in 2036. People don't understand that the cost of living is rising at such a high rate that essentially you're going to age and get older and have to work harder, which is totally backwards. So, like I said, I'm just big on self-love, self-awareness, self-reliance, and self-education.
And I had read basically what kind of made you take this path is that you were working for a sheriff's deputy's office.
Right here down the street. Right here down the street in Ybor City. I was a dispatcher for 4 years. And, you know, nepotism hit me right in the chest while I was working there. And it showed me just how you know, depending on who you know, people can make the same mistakes you do, and they'll be totally fine. And if you make them, you know, you're going to get executed. So following that, because they suspended me indefinitely, which they made me just sit for 4 months with no pay. Wouldn't give me any answers, just kept saying, no, it's indefinitely, so we don't have to give you any answers. And, you know, they just called me and ran one day like, hey, Derrick, come in. I go into this big room with 12 people on the other side of the door. I already knew what time it was. They fired me. And they really rocked my livelihood. I saw at that point just how reliant we are on strangers sometimes. Like, you know, for very minuscule things like bottles of water, socks, a grain of rice. We really are dependent on strangers to provide us with the finances to get these things. And from that point on, I just made a vow, like, I'm never relying on nobody again. So I took all the intellectual property I have, everything that I felt like was a gift and a talent of mine, and just stayed consistent and just tried to, you know, milk it to the best of my abilities.
Definitely. And then I also read that, is this true that you went and that's when you got your first face tattoo and you made it a point so that you won't go back working for somebody else?
Exactly. My family, man, you would have thought they started a campaign. Everybody was calling me every day like, Derrick, you got babies, man, get a job. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. That ain't going to work. You know, I come from a blue-collar family. So I would chalk it up to fear. A lot of them are scared for you. It just frightens them that you're going to try to control your destiny. And it was really my dad, because I really hang on to everything he say. Like, that's my idol. And when he didn't even, like, buy into the entrepreneurship and kept harassing me about the job, it really bothered me. So I'm like, what do I do to shut this man up and make it so I don't want, because I made up my mind I didn't want corporate America. I didn't want them to want me either. And that's when I got the first tattoo, and I was like, you know what, I'm about to go crazy with it. So they don't want me, I don't want them, we good. And I have a problem with procrastination. I perform so much better under pressure. So really at that point, that's what I did. I put my back against the wall, and it's pretty much fight or flight at that point. Like, you got babies, so you're going to have, whatever you claim you're going to do, you're going to have to figure it out, because you can't work a McDonald's register. You can't, like, they're not going to let you clean the bathrooms. You would scare people. So that's really what it was, the first facial tattoo, and now I'm at 29.
Wow. So has there been any point, even in the beginning, that you were like, what did that do? Like, you know, did you ever think twice about it?
Nah, I didn't. That's why I have this one over here, faith. I think in order to, with belief systems, somewhere down the line, you have to believe that you are going to possibly do something. I mean, because we have history, we have statistics, we have all these reasons why we only going to get so far in life and where everybody has maximized out. And at some point, you just really got to believe, crazy or not, lying to yourself, whatever you want to call it, you got to really believe that you could do something, like, you can be that one. And that's hence why I got I got that tattoo some years back, because I'm big on speaking it into existence. And my thing is, like, once you manifest the idea, you have to speak it. And once you do both of those, and you truly behind it, it'll manifest within your life. So I just kept saying, like, nah, I'm going to be the best person, the best motivational speaker, the best mentor, best author that ever did it. And, you know, it seems to me as if it's coming to fruition.
I think that's great. I mean, you're doing a lot. You're only 26, correct? So, I mean, and look at what you've accomplished already. So what do you see happening in the next 10 years for you?
Honestly, I'm going to tell you the 3 things I want. I want a mural in my city. I want a statue, but I want them to be very detailed and specific with my tattoos, because I don't want them to cheat me and give me a clean face statue. I want them to really portray who I was. And the biggest thing I want a college course at the end of the day created behind my ideologies and my theories. If I got those 3 things, I don't care about the money, the celebrity, none of that. Those are the 3 things I want long term out of this whole situation. Yeah.
That'd be dope, having your own statue. I want a statue. No.
And with the face, they got to get that real live feel, so they can make sure I want my tattoos colored and all. They need to really portray who I am up there.
So whoever does statues for the city, you heard it. We need a statue with Derrick Grace. So you just came back from Houston. You were part of the Trade Day charity event. How was that?
That was crazy. Like, cause Paul Wall had reached out a while back, and really blew me away. Cause I'm like, okay, Houston knows I exist. Like, I was seeing the book sales, but and even with the viral thing, sometimes you just really don't understand it until you go in public, and you getting a bite to eat, and somebody stop you like, hey, I need a picture. So I'm still adjusting. It's still surreal that, like, anywhere I go, people like any town I travel to since going viral, they've noticed me. But the love in Houston is unreal. Like I had people that walked up and bought like 6 books at one time. They're very warm, very welcoming. But I love Houston. That's when I get my funds together. That's gonna be my second home. I don't like the heat, but the love there was on another level. Yeah.
That's really, I can't even imagine what you feel going to the cities, like you said, that you don't even know if people know you exist.
Even with him, like at Trade Day, he had like a 3,000 to 4,000 person crowd. Derrick just took the microphone and like, when they're doing this thing and they went crazy, but we barely could get out of there. Like, he was grabbing us and all, like, no, wait, come back, I need a picture, or can I shake your hand before I go? Like I said, it's still crazy to me because I did take into account where I wanted to be, but I never factored in the celebrity part. That's just something that's never on my mind. So when it actually hits and your mom call you like, hey, I was out to eat there and somebody stopped me asking me, and I'm just like, man, like my brother's incarcerated, he's doing 15 years. But he called me yesterday and he's like, you at Trader? I'm like, how you know I'm at Trader? And he like, oh, bro, the prison's talking about you. Like somebody was visiting saying that they saw you on Ball Alert at Trader, and I'm like, wow. Yeah.
Crazy, that's awesome. I mean, you were over there with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I did see your picture, which I thought was so cool to see your picture that you posted with you and Officer Norman. Like, I thought that was so cool to see the two of you together,
Right.
you know?
It was like even when I saw him, I knew we had to get that picture. And like I said, I come from a family of law enforcement, so I understand both angles, especially with the Derrick move, especially with the things that's going on right now. I understand both ends of the spectrum, but that guy, like, his energy and aura when you see him is just so welcoming, and he got a smile that just like it's infectious. You gonna laugh when you see him. Like even when I met him, I dapped him up. We talked for a second, but he's had like the warmest energy with him, like that you could just feel like he a good dude. And I've been following him for a while. Like he does some awesome things in his community. Yeah.
He really does. And like I said, just to see you two together, because you guys have such big messages behind you, I thought it was just so cool.
It was crazy. People was commenting like, oh, look at my two favorite people in the world. I'm like, what, me? I'm your favorite person, little me? I know for Officer Norman, but, and then for us, our imagery is so diverse. It's like two different worlds colliding, but we both very positive, very selfless dudes. So, it was great meeting him. It was really good.
I'm sure. So I have to ask, who are you listening to as far as artist-wise? What are you bumping in your car?
Drake, Jay-Z, Dave East, and the most influential rapper in my life today is Nipsey Hussle. It's been some long nights when I was going through all kind of things, and I've been turning to Nipsey like for like the last 7 or 8 years. Like outside of my dad, that's like my voice of reason. It's like the stuff he be saying, him and Drake, but a lot of stuff Nipsey say, sometimes I feel like he just in my head or hanging with me like, yeah, I know what you're going through, and I'm going to help you get through it. But Fabulous, Nipsey, Dave East, Drake, and I say that's it. Yeah, that's like my top 4 that I keep in heavy rotation. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great selection there. So, again, obviously, you represent bringing your message, positivity. Do you think as artists, like as rappers or whatever have you, that it's almost their responsibility to use their platform to do the same, or are they strictly there for entertainment?
I absolutely feel they do need to use their platforms because they're very influential. And I think what they got to take into account a lot of times, a lot of these babies that look up them or that support them and follow them, like they don't always have father figures. Like I was just saying, like I have a great dad who's been there 110%, but I still look at Nipsey. Never met him a day in my life, but I still look at him as somebody who's providing me with guidance. And as me being as educated and highly intelligent, strong-willed as I am, I even need other people to rely on. So I can only imagine what a baby that doesn't have a father or a big brother can be going through. So definitely, I think that's one of my biggest things. Like I just did the Black Lives Matter rally. I did a couple rallies downtown, but accountability is my biggest thing. We got to be very conscious about the messages we putting out, the imagery, the words, all of that. So I definitely think, accountability does need to be in there. And just simply ask yourself, this is a question I always ask people. Would you be okay if your daughter or your son brought someone home like yourself? If you got any second thoughts, then that means you need to turn that mirror on yourself and start working on something. So that's how I gauge myself. Like I'm not gonna lie, I did a lot of the things young men do. But when I had my daughter, I started looking at her every day like, Man, I ain't trying to be 30 and she calling me about somebody like how I used to be. So we gonna have to, and I got 2 more daughters on the way. Now I have a total of 1 son, 3 daughters. So I'm a lot more conscious, even with my small platform, a lot more conscious of the messages I put out there. Yeah.
Well, that's good that you turned and looked at yourself and said saw what you need to change. So, going back to your videos, so you did post a video with your kids showing them how to unload and load a gun.
Right.
There was a lot of controversy about that. Tell us about that.
Uh, it was like I was raised in a household with firearms. My dad is a law enforcement, and I don't I don't think it's absolutely anything wrong with educating them, especially if they're in the house. You need to educate them. Children are inquisitive. I would rather them know how dangerous it is, what it's capable of, rather than me be gone one day and they go, hey, Derrick, let's go sneak around dad's room and play with XYZ. So, and especially outside of that, is the times we're living in. And I'm all about the peace and the love. But we have to be aware that there are tragedies happening at Walmarts. We could go be getting a burger, in the greatest of moods, and adversity attacks us. So that's I got a lot of feedback. I'm not gonna lie, like 80% of it was positive, 20% was bad. I actually even had law enforcement come to my house, but I'm educated. I don't think they knew that I worked there prior. So a lot of the situations they come at other people in, catch them all nervous and whatnot. I was raised in it, so you can't throw your weight around here. I know a little bit about a little something. So, but I think it's totally fine. And people hunt every day. And outside of that, for those who have been to the range, I've seen 6-year-olds of other demographics break down M16s. So I think people have to stop being so naive and afraid. Guns have been given like this terrible stigma, but they're really not that bad. Some people who genuinely use them for fun. Like I've taken Derrick to the range. We're never discussing hurting anybody or nothing. He's looking at his target saying, "Oh, Dad, I think I can get the head, or I can get this and that." So I definitely think, especially if they're in the home, and even with the times, it's something that they should be educated on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting to see those two. I mean, to be honest, they know a lot more than grown adults. So
You know what? Just adding something, because I do a lot of research. I know as of like June 20th, there were 28 school shootings in America. Only really 4 have been reported. So these are the things people have to be conscious of, that it may seem, not like a big deal because CNN is a report, but it's a lot of information they're intentionally not giving. So, and I think it was 2015, a child is shot every other day in America or is hurt due to gun violence, a child. So these are the things people's got to be conscious of. And it may not even be in your home. Your son may go to school with a friend that has a gun. He may need to educate him on, like, hey, man, that's not how you use that. Don't do X, Y, Z, because he was educated on it as a child. So, unfortunately, it's something that's a part of our everyday life. So I think it's better to know about it than be naive and something happen.
no, I respect what you did. I mean, I think it makes sense. Oh, she's not talking on the microphone, but she's talking, and we need to listen. So you're here promoting your new book, Gods Amongst Men. Tell us about it.
Book number 1 that I released in August of 2014 was a 700-page biography, just chronicling my life from 3 all the way up until 25. Gods Amongst Men is pretty much a decoded book of affirmations, because people who follow my social media, they know I try to provide substance every day, all day. But a lot of times it goes over people's heads, and a lot of times they don't initially grasp it. So Gods Amongst Men is pretty much just a decoded version, and me giving them some type of substance that they could, digest every day. Or I've had some people who read the book in like 2 days. I would rather them read 1 quote a day, but some people just, felt the need to knock it out. But it's 365 affirmations to get them through every day of the year. This is volume 1. I actually got like 3 years worth. But actually, I've been keeping those in the vault, and I put them on social media because I'm like, let me save something for the book. But pretty much what it is my personal step-by-step booklet that I use to gain the knowledge, cover the ground, and the wisdom that I did in 26 years. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm definitely interested in reading it. I will be getting a copy. So, of course. So tell us, what else do you have coming up? I know you're doing a lot of traveling and stuff, so what's coming up?
I got the Don't Judge a Book by its cover empowerment and book signing tour. July 29th, the Florida Florida tour kicks off next week. July 29th is going to be Jacksonville. July 30th, Orlando. July 31st, Miami. Um, fumbling my words. August 6th, Atlanta. That following weekend, August 13th, I'll be in Ybor City. St. Pete, with the Honorable Dr. Umar Johnson. Following that, I'll be going back to Houston for a speaking engagement and book signing as well. But we're constantly adding tour dates. I know Chicago's coming, St. Louis, Milwaukee, all out west, and we're planning on doing London for Christmas because I definitely want to spend Christmas over there. So the speaking engagements, that tour is kicking off. Dates will be added for anybody that wants them. All dates can be found on my website at amillibound.com, AMILLIBOUND, or social media. Outside of that, I'm big, like I said, I'm big on child investment. I make the kids go out every weekend. They have a lemonade stand and a vending machine that we invested in because I'm trying to teach them, how to take care of themselves and be independent early on. So I don't got to worry about them in 10 years. That's all their problems. They got their money. But Derrick is very big on cosmetics. So we're in the works right now. I told her I would do it for her birthday. Her birthday was last month. But because we're in viral, some things got knocked off schedule. But she's going to be starting a cosmetic line. Should be next month for August. That's my birthday gift to her. Knocking out all that. We're just working on the paperwork now, but she'll be starting her own cosmetic line. It's going to be Goddess Grace Glam. So that'll be next for her, and that's what's next for me. Derrick has interest in night lights, but we still trying to find somebody that can actually help us build custom night lights. But I'm definitely trying to get them on the path, and I got 2 more daughters on the way, so, trying to scoot those 2 on out the way and prepare for my new babies and bringing them up the same way.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely staying busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a full schedule. So I think that's great that, you're already investing into businesses for your kids. So that's great. Well, we have lots of kids here ready to get their free school supplies that DTLR and you. We have both partnered up to give the city these supplies.
I appreciate y'all so much. This specific DTLR is like home for me. I've been coming here for years, but y'all have been so warm and embraced me. And I've been reaching out to you the first time. It was like, no hesitation, no nothing. Send me the logo. Boom, we done. I got you. Do your thing. So always grateful for y'all.
No problem. We love working with you, and we have many more things coming up.
Right.
So we're going to let the kids in, get their school supplies, do some shopping. And so make sure you're following Derrick Grace. What's your Instagram, anybody who's not familiar?
All social media can be found at Derrick Grace 2, DerrickGracetwo. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything can be found at Derrick Grace 2, TWO, not the number 2.
Cool. And then make sure you're keeping up with DTLR at DTLR.com and DTLR Lifestyle. And make sure you're keeping up with me, posting up all the Florida events at Robin the Heart. Thank you.